Hey, I'm Rene Ritchie. Welcome back to the show. Apologies for being so late today, but Apple held their quarterly financial earnings call, and I wanted to make sure I had a chance to listen to it at least twice so I could give you the most important details and the things that I thought were being most overlooked. Here we go. First, the smartphone market is mature, but it's still massive. Expectations aren't about what you've done in the past or what you just did today, but about what you can do in the future. If you launched your Lamborghini from 0 to 100 in 3 seconds, good for you. What's next? If you got it to 200, fine, great. But why haven't you gotten it to 300 yet, to 400? Laws of physics? What are those? We demand growth, infinite growth. This is the same thing. Everyone on Earth have an iPhone? Why don't they have two? And why haven't you opened Apple stores on Mars yet? Apple's been adding new hardware features like better cameras, new software features like Animoji, and new services like Apple Music to make iPhone more valuable, to extract more value from customers, and to encourage more and faster upgraders and switchers. Still, Apple CEO Tim Cook doesn't seem too worried about the law of large numbers.
I think the smartphone market is very healthy. I think it's actually the best market in the world to be in for someone that is in the business that we're in. It's an enormous size market, and whether it grows from our point of view, whether it grows 1 or 2% or 5 or 6%. Or 10% or shrinks 1 or 2%, it's a great market because it's just huge.
Second, Mac and iPad numbers were down, but because they were out. The moment the numbers hit and iPad and Mac were obviously down year over year, you could hear the vultures squawking overhead. And by squawking, I mean tweeting, in full-on schadenfreude mode. But here's the thing. Last year, by Q3, Apple had launched the new Kaby Lake MacBook Pros, 12-inch MacBooks, and iMacs, and the new A10 iPad Pros. Both lineups were locked and loaded. This year, so far, Apple has only launched new Coffee Lake MacBook Pros, with Touch Bar, and only a couple of weeks ago. To spell that out, last year customers had a ton of new Macs and iPads to spend money on. This year, not so much. It's what makes a direct compare so dangerous. It's easy if you're lazy, but it's so embarrassing if you don't dig any deeper. Here's what Apple CFO Luca Maestri had to say.
We were very happy to see double-digit year-over-year growth in our active installed base of Macs to a new all-time high, with nearly 60% of purchases during the quarter coming from customers who are new to Mac. Our year-over-year sales performance was impacted by the different timing of the MacBook Pro launch, which did not occur until early Q4 this year, as opposed to June last year, with the subsequent channel fill during the June quarter.
And
iPad unit sales grew for the 5th consecutive quarter, and we gained significant share of the global tablet market based on the latest estimates from IDC. We recorded double-digit iPad unit growth in both our Greater China and rest of Asia-Pacific segments, with a new June quarter record for iPad sales in mainland China. Almost half of iPad purchases in the quarter were by customers new to iPad, and our active installed base of iPads reached a new all-time high. Our overall performance compared to last year was impacted by the introduction of new iPad Pro models in June of last year, which resulted in both a different mix with higher ASPs and channel fill a year ago.
third, the watch has its own halo. Apple still doesn't break out watch sales the way it does iPhone, iPad, and Mac, and its continued use of Bezos numbers consternates a lot of analysts. Others simply track their own numbers. What's interesting with watch, though, is that the more it grows, the more it finds its own appeal, be it fitness tracking for people who want to get or stay in shape, life-saving for people who have accidents or previously hidden conditions, or notifications for people who can't carry their phone at work but still need or want to stay in touch. And since Apple Watch only works with iPhone, it's beginning to have its own halo effect. In other words, people who want Watch need to switch to iPhone to get it, and they're willing to. It's not too different from people switching to get on iMessage with their friends, or to the App Store to get some of the early or exclusive releases, or because privacy now is beginning to feel like security back in the Windows 98 and XP days. When you round out the ecosystem, each piece starts contributing towards the overall gravity. Or, as Tim Cook put it,
it is clear from communications I've had with users that some of them were attracted to iPhone because of the Apple Watch. And so the Apple Watch led them to the iPhone. The reverse of that is also true, is that somebody got the iPhone and then decided, I really want something to to coach me in fitness and to curate some of the communications and so forth, like the watch does so well. And so it's not always a linear path. I see these things as being somewhat fluid and different for each user.
Now, it's not all rosy. There remain huge challenges ahead. Apple got a head start on augmented reality and is working on autonomous technology, but they've just reorganized their artificial intelligence efforts, and getting that right will be a key to their future. It's also going to be a key to all of our futures. Are you inspired to learn more about it but have no idea where to start? If you've not studied coding at all in your life, hearing terms like algorithms and neural networks can be daunting at first, but don't worry. A good place to start learning the logic and theory behind coding is Brilliant. They have a bunch of courses teaching you the fundamentals of computer science for those of you who are new to the field. Each course is interactive and breaks up complicated concepts into bite-sized chunks to make sure you actually absorb the information, a strategy that I really wish was around when I was in school learning this. So those are my quick takeaways from Apple's Q3 2018, but I'd love to hear what you think. Is it a gambler's paradox? The more Apple wins, the more people are going to believe they can't possibly win again? Or has Apple got a repeatable path towards producing products that others are willing to pay for? Let me know in the comments below. Hit like, hit subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.